Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here live yet once again. I made a promise to you guys, and we are here to basically deliver on what we said yesterday. We talked about this ESPN deal. We talked about Wrestlepalooza 2025, and I normally do my Tuesday night streams as like sort of like a commercial for my Wednesday night main eventer, where I hook up with my buddy Jeremy over at the Rock and Roll channel. And we talk about the week of wrestling. And I just try to send everybody over to Jeremy's channel, Rock and Roll. But at the end of the stream, I was like, well, Jeremy told me he's not going to be able to do it today. So if something huge happens in the world of wrestling, I will step up and I'll be here live and we'll discuss it. I made an an instant reaction video as I got out of work. I think ESPN as well as WWE tweeted this out about 1 o'clock Pacific time, probably 4 o'clock Eastern. I'm guessing if they did that so it wouldn't affect the stock market at all. I went over, I checked it out. TKO has been down for about a week. I mean, we're not talking like millions of dollars here. And Disney stock is kind of like holding still, pretty much where it's at. So it didn't really affect the stock market at all. I didn't check out NBC to see how their stock is doing, which I think would be called Comcast stock, because Comcast owns NBC. I'm pretty sure that's the way it works. So I wonder how they're hurting by losing WWE, by losing the PLEs. A huge announcement was made today, and then hooked into that announcement in the fine terms was some bigger news. So ESPN is going to be launching their ESPN DTC app tomorrow. You'll be actually able to go over and sign up. I remember the first day going to my computer trying to log in to create a WWE Network account, and at that early in the morning, it just was impossible to get through to put my credit card number in there to be all right. It ended up that because I was up trying to get the network, somebody tweeted me the Hulk Hogan password for WrestleMania access tickets for WrestleMania 30 to meet Hulk, and I got my first chance to meet the Hulkster. I ended up getting that on the same day as the network. I remember I really, really wanted to just be a first day subscriber. I remember I wasn't able to do it before I ended up going to work. In my mind, I was probably working like a morning shift. It probably wasn't early in the morning. It was early enough for the stream to launch. But it wasn't until I actually went to lunch. I'm on my lunch that I was able to pull up the network, log in, put my credit card information in, and say, I'm off to the races to watch some network. And I remember I first opened the network and I was like, oh, now what do I want to watch? And I kind of was thinking like what the biggest thing that ever happened in the world of wrestling in my lifetime. And I ended up going with Bash at the Beach 1996, seeing the NWO invasion of WCW, seeing the beginning of that show. And I always thought that WCW wasn't really good at building like those cut scenes to build like the beginning of a pay-per-view. Like they really tried in the early 90s with the Sting and like the spin the wheel, make a deal videos with the little guy, or Sting and Davey Boy getting their boat blown up by Vader and Sid Justice. But, I'll tell you the truth. All they did was really use some clips and somebody like talking over it, like telling you the story of what was going down. And you really believe that the NWO was invading WCW. That was the first thing that I ever watched on the WWE network. When I came home that night, I was able to fire up the stream, and I kind of just watched what they were putting on their live stream. I thought that was really, really fun to just kind of like, I remember I watched an episode of ECW they kept on running this commercial for like a Goldust doc that I never saw, where he was like talking about creating the character of Goldust and what he was going to wear. I don't know what that was, but that was really good. I never saw it again out there on anything else. But that was a fun day. Now tomorrow, when we sit down and we open up the ESPN app, I'm guessing you can do it straight from there. I don't know if you'll have to download ESPN DTC as a separate app to do it. But as we do that, we'll find out the rumors. Are we having to pay $30 a month? Are we, having to pay for an ESPN Plus account? Do we just verify our cable subscription and that we are ESPN subscribers? And the major cable companies or internet streaming companies, if that's going to be good enough. I think that like even with a whatever account, you'll be able to do it. But WWE Malaysia. WWE Saturday Night Main Event, Rhea Ripley, Women's Champion 2026. I don't know what you're doing, but I'll tell you this much. At the end of my stream yesterday, after I ended it, I found out how to do this. That's like the coolest thing in the world to me, to be able to put the things up on the stream. I thought I had to have like an account where I paid money on StreamYard in order to be able to do that. Bearstown 19. I know this dude. ESPN Piss Me 9GG. I have no clue what you're talking about right there. Throw that comment back in there again and we'll read it again. But I'm guessing that you're upset, thinking that you're going to have to pay the $30 a month. I'm telling you this much. I'm pretty sure all of the freaking news that has been out there in the world of wrestling has said, if you have ESPN, if you can verify it, if you are not stealing it from a neighbor, stealing it from your grandma, stealing it from your mom, you can verify that you have an account with ESPN through YouTube TV, Comcast, Cox Cable, whatever else is out there. Sling TV will probably even work. But if they're able to do that, it should be good to go. But once I sign up for this ESPN DLC, I don't think I'm going to have the same feeling of like, this is the coolest thing in the world. I don't want to wait until September 20th to find out what's going on with this. But I have on my, see, the problem with this app to me is I have YouTube TV. It's an app. It's on my phone. And at any time I can push a button, fire it up. And actually on Sundays, while I'm working, it's how I listen to the 49er games. I put the 49er game on my phone. I put my earbud in and I listen to it because it's clearer than the reception we get of listening to the 49er game on the radio. And if something big happens, I'm able to run over to the stream and I'm able to hit like back up like 30 seconds and I'm able to actually watch like the touchdown play or something like that. So it's like you can like see it with your own eyes. But that's the thing I do. So I don't know what this app is going to have as a part of like on demand that makes me want to be able to see this. I know that in the foreseeable future, after Wrestlepalooza, after the Royal Rumble, after WrestleMania 42, those pay-per-views are going to live on the app. But as of right now, the biggest mystery is like what is going to happen with the library from WWE. The word is like it could be living on Peacock, it could disappear, it could be moving over to YouTube, but it's going to be crazy to see what's going to be happening in the foreseeable future. But that's kind of the biggest question that I have. But as of right now, Clash in Paris is going to be the last WWE PLE on Peacock. Don't hit the unsubscribe button so fast because we don't know if it's going to be used as a WWE network where those things are going to live and they're just not going to take down the histories of SummerSlams, Royal Rumbles, WrestleManias. If that's not your thing, if you still have your DVD collection of $5 wrestling straight out of Compton, then I guess you're good to fire up your DVD player and watch it that way. But if you want to watch things like that, I would wait until it's gone. This is a big day. I remember when the announcement was made that the WWE Network was closing down in the United States and Peacock was now going to be the home of the WWE Network, or the PLEs were going to live, as well as the old shows. And it was going to take a minute for everything to like sub over, but it was going to be there. I can tell you that I was paying attention to the wrestling business because I sure knew the story. I had an account, but I don't remember what was the first PLE on Peacock. I do remember the warning emails like, hey, you're sub to the WWE Network. It's going to end at the end of this. It was like a certain pay-per-view. Like, we're going to air this and then we're done. You have to move over to Peacock now. This is your last chance. This is your last warning. And I know that I didn't join Peacock until I had to. Once I did, I found out it was actually cheaper. The Office had moved over from Netflix. So that was a big win for me. But what was I saying there? Jesus Christ. I think this is going to be really, really big. I know that at Clash in Paris, we're going to be getting Drew McIntyre going up against Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship. I'm pretty sure that the Peacock era of WWE started with Drew McIntyre as WWE Champion. I believe it was after WrestleMania 36 in that like 2020 to 2021 era. And then I think he has a chance to actually beat Cody Rhodes, which I don't think he's going to do, and end the Peacock era as WWE champion yet once again. So I think that honestly would be really, really cool. Losers in this situation, it's going to be AEW. I think that if they can, rally up the troops, find ways to put major shows on, like I would quite possibly think that like this lights out cage match that they're going to be doing, a 5-on-5. I think it's going to be awesome. I think it definitely got people talking about AEW for a night. And it sort of like got the monkey off of their back that they're not going to like just give up this war. They're going to fight it out until the dying days. But the one problem that I see is they need there's storylines where you use singles guys as tag teams. But I think as of right now, you need to have as many singles matches as possible to use your biggest stars in the biggest matches, filling out an entire card. Putting guys in a tag match against each other, I think is just kind of like watering down what you got. I understand your talent range is huge. They're borrowing from other companies with the Forbidden Door deal. It seems like they have more people under contract than WCW ever did. But I think that honestly, they got to buckle down and they got to figure something out. They're a little bit behind the ball. They're still selling pay-per-views, which I was debating in my head. I'm guessing in my mind, ticket sales. Well, no, television is number 1, ticket sales number 2, merch number 3. Pay-per-view revenue is probably their 4th biggest income into the company. If you can find somebody that would want to take this on, I know that you've already signed a deal with HBO Max. It's going to be hard to offer just the PLEs to an app. And it might be hard for HBO Max to talk to you about buying these PLEs. But as soon as they can, I believe it's in a year and a half when this contract is up. That's got to be one of their strongest selling points, getting out of the pay-per-view market. There's so many people stealing the shows through illegal streams. that I think it's kind of hurting the company. You're always going to have that no matter what the price is going to be. I'm not sure if it's just the younger era that don't want to ask their parents for another subscription to an app. I don't know if it's the like kind of teenager era who is out living on their own and they just don't have the money to pay for a pay-per-view. I get it. I'm not going to tell you that I've never streamed a show, and the last few AEW shows I watched thanks to my Fire Stick and watching a video on YouTube. So nobody here is perfect. Nobody here is like shaking the finger of like saying though, like, that's why like back in the day, WMR was so huge. I'm not telling you not to do it, but if you can get it on an option where it's only $10 to $15 a month, I'll tell you this much. It's worth it to me to pay that to watch a show rather than try to mess with that Fire Stick and find out why it won't connect to the place I need to be able to watch the show, or find out which link is going to be good and have it drop during a match. Because they figured out who was streaming the show and the stream got turned off or something like that. I'll just pay it to make sure I'm able to get through. That's the way that's going to work. So, September 20th is the big day. That's the first show that's going to be on ESPN. I'm guessing that we got the one day that this WWE deal was announced, everybody on First Take in the morning. In this next month, I'm guessing that a lot of ESPN is going to be mixing with WWE kind of as the major selling points. I understand that college football is going to be coming up and people are going to want to be able to stream these games. I still think, from an outsider looking in, as of right now, this ESPN app, the strongest selling point is WWE. I know that we talked about it a few minutes ago, but like everybody, I don't know many people who have Comcast anymore. Dish TV, they have an app. YouTube TV, they have an app. Sling TV, they have an app, and you can like just pull it up on your phone, and you can push the button, and you can watch it. Your phone, your iPad. That would be really cool if you could watch it on your watch, but I don't think you're able to watch it on your watch as of right now. But I think it's gonna be really, really cool. I'll get to you in one second, Damon. But I just think that if you wanted to watch college football, there's so many options out there to watch these games. I don't really know anything other than that's going to sell this other than WWE. I think that's why it was the first splash. It was the first big announced thing that's going to be happening, and they announced it right before this app rolled out. And tomorrow is going to be really, really exciting. Damon said, what did you think of Drew McIntyre's promo on Cody Rhodes this Friday night? I thought it was kind of weird, honestly, that he was the one that was announcing that Cody Rhodes was injured, and he was kind of like talking to the camera like he was talking to Cody, putting himself over as a big deal. I think I'm pretty sure that he was the first champion in WWE. Caleb over here hit me with a 6'7", so I got to hit him with like one of these. I'll tell you the truth. My kids drive me crazy saying this crap. I don't even know what it means, but I just try to act cool. Like I know what's going down because of the fact that like I just don't want to make fun of me. I got to be a cool dad, man. But Wrestlepalooza, I think honestly, the more I think about it, is going to be one of the biggest shows in WWE history. I think that they're going to play off this connection with ESPN. They had like a news segment where a superstar was interviewed for about a year in 2016. They had ESPN Sports Center went to SummerSlam. I want to say that was like in 2017. But like, other than like having some random people show up on First Take talking about a pay-per-view that was coming up or WrestleMania, I can't really think of wrestling being on ESPN, where ESPN is catering. Like, do you remember what it was like watching football on Sundays? Like when you were watching like Fox Sports, and it was like the game of the week that you were watching, and they would just flat out say like, "Hey, Roman Reigns is gonna wrestle in a steel cage match on Friday Night SmackDown." You can't try and get a bigger audience. I think that the Fox WWE deal was huge. I think in the long run, just SmackDown just got too expensive, and Fox just didn't want to pay it because they figured that they could get good ratings with a different show that costs a lot less money. I don't know what Fox is showing Friday nights, but it's more than likely probably some sort of like cop drama that they can probably, get for $1 million an episode or something like that, and instead of having to pay, for live sports fees for WWE. I think that WWE got bigger over their time with Fox. I think that they weren't helping themselves sometimes with some very bad booking. When you are on, Fox Television, who anybody in the United States can get with a dial, just going to like back in the old days, it used to be 40. I don't remember when we got rid of the TV that had like the clicker thing on it. But when we switched over to cable, but I mean, like anybody in the world could have had that, and they should have made SmackDown the #1 show where just all of the big stars lived. And just had the best writers on that team and just went out of their way to not put up any stinkers. But SmackDown's always been the B show, even as of right now. Like Roman's, I think he's supposed to be there. Cody is pretty much a SmackDown guy unless he has a major angle and he's showing up on Raw. They try, but at the end of the day, they're like, we got to get this going. We got to put it on Raw. We got to push it. And that's why Raw is always looked at as the major big show. WrestlePalooza, as of right now, easy prediction, Brock versus Cena. I'm guessing that at freaking Clash in Paris, it's going to be some sort of like DQ fest or just flat out Seth Rollins pins LA Knight and wins the match. And that's going to set up Punk versus Rollins actually getting a one-on-one match and a chance to get his championship back. What else could be on that show? You got to think that like Roman against Braun Breaker after Roman beats Bronson Reed. Drew's probably going to lose his match against Cody. But do you do Drew versus Cody as like a rematch on this show? Because like, remember Untold, Cody on that debut of Raw, he's not a Monday Night Raw guy, he's a SmackDown guy, but he is the WWE champion. He is like your #1 dude. They were trying their best to find him a spot to be on the show. He was pitching that he wanted to run out there and save Cena from getting beat down by a whole bunch of like mid-carders, kind of like at the Raw 1000 where Undertaker and Kane were out there, and like freaking Jinder Mahal, Kurt Hawkins, I think Heath Slater, just some randoms just came out there and were just eating choke slams so they can have a moment out there. But that was the kind of thinking like Cena would announce like he's here and he's ready to go, and all these mid-card guys would come running down, and Cody would run out and help John and like kind of like beat everybody off to that was funny. But he would probably beat everybody to the point where you can have a Cena and Cody moment inside of the ring. And that was probably one of the big things they're looking for. But I really think that they're going to play off this huge. And I deep down, like I'm a WWE guy, thick and thin. I will be a bandwagon jumper that jumps on AEW when a big show comes along. But I haven't turned on Dynamite in quite a while. And I don't think I've watched the other show since the night CM Punk debuted. That was like 5 years ago. God honest truth. But I don't know, guys. I gave you like the live reaction as I was leaving work today. I think that this is going to be huge. I'm really, really excited for it. I hope everybody signs up for this tomorrow, finds out what the news is going to be. Part of me thinks it's too good to be true that it's going to be free. But I guess it's just the way the world is changing, and everybody is just trying to find a way to get in on the streaming game and find out who's going to be bigger. That's the one point that might scare me a bit, is like some phone company or some internet streaming company will jump in and say that they are the official holder of ESPN, and like the kind of like how Sprint used to have a lockdown on the NFL app. The NFL app only worked if you had Sprint, where you could listen to the games. Like, they didn't want your money, they didn't want anything. Sprint paid them enough, and it was like, hey, Sprint or bust. And I think T-Mobile is with the Major League Baseball TV app. I think this is what's going down, but I'm really worried about the WWE Classics. I think it would be too confusing if they launched their own app. I think YouTube would be a great thing. I'll say the first thing that I'm going to do, if this ESPN deal actually ends up being free, I'm going to sign up for a YouTube premium account, and I'll just like transfer. I used to pay $15 for that. Now I'm just paying $15 for this. It's gonna take a while. They upload a lot, but they don't upload tons. And every once in a while things come up and you're looking at it and you're like, the network didn't even have that at its prime. Why are you uploading it to YouTube now? But I haven't tried to watch an entire show, but watching like a 3-hour pay-per-view on YouTube, and getting the ads that are probably going to pop up every 5 to 10 minutes. No, thank you. Even if you have to wait it out for the 10 seconds and then press skip, I'll just pay the money and just get it down. So that's the one thing that I'm thinking about. And just hopefully over time, we can get a huge collection put up. They have lots of like match clips of Raw on the WWE YouTube itself, from putting up the highlights and stuff like that. But I want more entire matches. I'm wondering how they'll be able to like do entire episodes. I don't think we have any entire episodes of Raw or Nitro up there on these WWE or WCW vaults yet. So that'll be fun. So find out tomorrow. I don't think I'm going to do this again tomorrow. I'll tell you the truth. If I do anything, I'll probably just do like a recap video telling you where everything's going to be. But this is huge. Huge, huge. Let me put this Caleb thing back up there because I want to be able to tell my my kids about it. Peace out, everybody. I'll see you guys down the road.